Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Lady Vol Show, brought to you by the Lady Vol Boost Her Club and sponsored by Orange Mountain Designs. If you don't know what the Lady Vol Boost Her Club is, it's the premier NIL collective for all 9 Lady Vol sports. And we're here at Orange Mountain Designs, as always, your one-stop shop for all Lady Vol gear. Okay, for today's episode, I'm so excited because we have McKenna Gibson and Coach Karen Weekly. First coach to be on the All Lady Vol Show. Give yourself a hand. Give her a hand. Yeah. Iconic.
What an honor. Thank you.
Iconic, absolutely. I will say it's probably because I played for her and I had a little bit of an in, but I'm so thankful for both of you during like this time of your season to be able to come, talk, hang out, all the things. But how are you guys doing? Just came back from Ole Miss, got the series win. Boo, how are you doing?
Good. Just really excited for this coming weekend and getting closer into postseason. And it's like going by so fast, but just taking it one weekend at a time. And it's been a lot of fun. And it's gone by so freaking fast.
They say that it goes by fast, and then you're like, when you hit your sophomore year, like, this is not going by fast. You hit a little bit of a sophomore slump.
Yeah.
And then it goes by in a blink of an eye, and you're like, oh, it's senior day.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When Karen had said something when I don't know when we were halfway into SECs, and I was like, dang, only halfway. and then like a week later, I was like,
oh, we're actually
like almost done. Like this is crazy. So I'm just excited to finish off. And
for sure. Karen, how are you doing?
Really well. Yeah, having a lot of fun coaching this team. It's a really, really good group. They learn really well. Every week I feel like we've checked a box of something we've gotten better at. So just makes me excited for the weekend ahead.
Does it ever, like, you've been coaching 24 years here at Tennessee. Does it ever get repetitive, tiring, or is it because it's a new team every year, it feels so different every single, like, basically, do you ever get tired of it and you're like, the same thing over and over?
I think there are things that can wear on you, but, you know, I enjoy the challenge and I enjoy the problem-solving aspect of, you know, what you do as a coach at this level, and every team's different. And they all have different, you know, a team personality, and then of course all these individual personalities, and that's what makes it fun. And gosh, keeps you young.
Oh yeah.
I mean, everybody I work with is always going to be 18 to 22, right?
No,
so
that's very interesting.
I enjoy it more every year.
And like I said, 24 years. So most people that are Lady Vol fans, Tennessee fans in general, they've known you as the head coach throughout their entire lives. Where did you? Let's bring it all the way back. Where did you start your coaching career? I know we're all from the West Coast. We have Seattle, obviously California. Where did it all start? Because I think people forget, like, you haven't been here for your whole life. So when did it start for you?
I think it was when I went to law school, right after I graduated from college. And I sat there and looked at the board one day, you know, the professor's talking, and I thought, am I really never going to set foot on a basketball court or a softball field again? Because I had played both in college. And I thought, I want to figure out a way to stay involved, even though I knew I wanted to finish law school, be a lawyer, all that stuff. And so I just started literally helping out, like one day a week, working camps in the summer, things like that. And, you know, the bug just got bigger and bigger and bigger as time went on. But I didn't become a full-time coach, like actually got paid to do this until I came to Tennessee 24 years ago. Wow. So even at UT Chattanooga, I was helping Ralph with the team. And was there every day, but my primary position was college professor. That's what I was being paid to do.
Gotcha. And from you starting your career coaching at Chattanooga to now, what do you think is like the number one thing that the game has evolved to? Like the biggest change from then to now?
Gosh, there's so many things, but I think the biggest is the technology piece. You know, Ralph and I were just talking earlier today about some of the drills that they used to do way back in the day, like when he was with the Olympic team, the first go around in '96. And, you know, I said, yeah, now we have machines that can throw every kind of pitch, every spin, every speed. The video that you have on everybody, the way you can measure, I mean, the high-speed cameras and how you can measure everything about a pitch thrown and a swing taken. It's just crazy the detail that has come with technology.
Oh, for sure. And Boo, you haven't quite been 24 years of playing softball, but pretty close.
She's not even 24 years old.
She's not even 24 years old, but you had a lot of
Riley.
time. I had to transition it somehow. You've had a lot of time playing softball, and you're coming down to like your final couple series, final postseason run. You committed when? Your freshman year, 8th grade year of high school?
Freshman year, September.
Wow.
October.
And it's crazy because it's 8 years from that, and you're still here. Why did you originally come to Tennessee and choose to be a Lady Vol?
Came here on my visit, and I just honestly fell in love with it. Like, I didn't really have many other like visits set up, but I came here on an unofficial. Was just touring campus, and like even the people that I met first at our hotel, they were so nice, and like the Southern hospitality is very real, and it's just like nothing, you can't find it anywhere else. And just the campus, the family feeling, and I really just felt like Tennessee was a big home away from home for me. And of course the coaches and Ralph and Karen being there, like they've been a big part of recruiting me. And like even when I was being recruited, I was like, I don't want to go to Tennessee. I don't like orange. Like, I was like, I don't like the color orange. And then came out here, and I was like, I can't see myself anywhere else. And it was a blessing to have Grace, with me, and the time that she spent playing and whatnot. But ultimately, it was just like the feeling, like the support that you get from fans, the support you get from the coaching staff. Like I knew I wouldn't be able to find it anywhere else.
If you could redo any part of your journey again, would you redo it?
I was kind of thinking about this not that long ago, just because I'm getting into the final weekends of it. But honestly, no, because I've realized now that it's every year, every moment that's happened has happened for a reason, and there's a growing point from it. There's a learning point from it, and while I wish some things could have happened differently, that's just the control aspect of it, and just learning from what has happened, from how I can grow as a person and as a player each year. Like ultimately, now I'm going to get down to like everything that I've learned and taking it into the real world. So there's going to come a time where I can't just learn and move on from softball. So I'm grateful for everything that's happened, good and bad, and just being able to learn and grow from it.
Yeah, one of the first things I remember Karen telling you, either I was on a recruiting visit or it was my freshman year, and I'm like so excited, and you told us college is not going to be the best, most exciting 4 years of your life. You're like, but you will grow and like learn the most you ever will. And I was walking to college, like you see when people finish their careers, they're crying and they're like, this is the best thing I've ever done. And truthfully, it was the best 4 years of my life, but not for the same reasons that I thought. I thought it was going to be happiness, joy, all of that. And it was, but I grew as a person so much more. So I agree with you. I wouldn't change like one thing that happened, because I wouldn't be where I am today. But I don't know if you remember saying that early in my career, or you've said it. You've definitely said it to probably every class at some point.
Well, how depressing would it be to think that these are going to be the best 4 years of your life, and that's it?
That's
right?
true.
So what do you do after you graduate?
Exactly.
And so I always find it interesting when people say that. And it's the best in certain ways. But I look back now on my 4 years in college, and I realize that I grew more in those 4 years than I would in any other 4 year period of my life. Not that you stop growing, but it's just like you're leaving mom and dad's home, and now you're having to make your own decisions. And you really have to figure out who you are and what you value.
You're forced to grow. There is a lot of highs and there's some lows. So we're going to touch on, you guys might have not called it a low, but this past week, it was kind of ups and downs for you guys. You went into the week ranked number 1. You had Clemson at home, a tough top 25 team to play. You went to Ole Miss, started the series with a loss, eventually figured it out, got the series win. So let's just go back to Clemson. Coming off of a series against, was Auburn, yeah? Auburn going into Clemson. How hard was that transition to make? And then what do you think was the kind of key factor in why you guys weren't able to come out with that win? We'll start with Boo, and then we'll see what Karen says about it.
I mean, yeah, it was kind of a tougher transition just because. Oh wait, no, our Auburn series was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right?
Yeah. So you did have an extra.
So we did have like a few extra days, but I mean, when you have a midweek like that, it's coming around. It's tough to just kind of the prep is quicker, and just being able to kind of get your minds right. But I mean, ultimately, like we knew they're a good team. They've got good pitching, they've got good hitting, and we just you can't take any team lightly. So I think we talked about it post game, like there was just some execution things that, we could have done better to win the game, but it was a good game. It was going back and forth, and I don't think if we had just cleaned up some of those execution things like bunts or defensive plays, like that game could have been completely different. So it's not like we can completely harp on ourselves of, we should have done this. Like it was really just the small fundamental things that we sharpen up, and then that game is completely different.
Yeah. And then to take that game and then to go into Ole Miss, you kind of had to flush it immediately to get prepared for the series. But then again, on Friday, you did take a loss. How do you think just those back-to-back, like you saw from the team, the fight to go into the next two in the series?
Well, going back to Clemson, I was not at all disappointed with their fight at Clemson. It just exposed some execution things, like Boo said, that I think we'd been making those mistakes, but they hadn't cost us. So maybe we weren't really having a sense of urgency about cleaning up things like getting our bunts down and really good base running. And 3 of the 4 runs Clemson scored got on base on walks or hit by pitch. So it's those little things that make it more difficult to win a game if you're making those mistakes. And we lost. And then when we go into Friday night at Ole Miss, I think what got us there is, quite honestly, what got us our first, loss against, well, not first loss, but way back to Oregon. We just didn't compete with aggressiveness the first 5 innings. And then we kind of got this, we better get moving here. And it was just too little too late. And I think every game tells a story, and every game is an opportunity for us to learn as a team, what we did well and want to keep doing, and what we didn't like, and we want to change that. And I look at this past week, and I'm personally not disappointed, because I feel like we really learned from both of those games, and the way we rebounded on Saturday at Ole Miss was huge. And Sunday, I told them I think that's the toughest they've played, because at this point in the season, everybody's physically worn down, even more so mentally worn down in the SEC. And for us to play as clear-minded as we did on Sunday and just do so many little things. Like when you think of how we scored, we scored with a home run. We scored with a double steal, first and third. We scored, walking in a run. We just scored in so many different ways, and we executed small ball things. And to me, that's really, really good for them to prove to themselves we can do this as we head into this week.
Yeah. I think we've talked about it like throughout the season of just how adversity really helps you going into the final moments of season and then into postseason. I kind of want to touch on a few key players. First, starting with Taylor Panels. She is on fire. I think 15th home run this season. Boo, how has it been being able to hit behind a batter that is going to get on in some certain way? They're either going to try and walk her, they're going to pitch to her, she's going to hit. How has that been batting behind her? And she's also a redshirt sophomore. So she's young, she's fresh. How has that been for you?
Honestly, it's awesome. Just seeing the way that she's producing for our team, and just the respect that other teams have for her. I'm kind of surprised that Ole Miss at some point didn't intentionally walk her because of the way that she's producing. But, it kind of helps me too. Just the respect that they give to her, and helps me, lock in. And we saw it this weekend. She had a big home run for us, and allows me to, hit after her and really just make sure I'm locked in, with my at-bats. So it's been awesome just seeing her grow, and just the progress that she's made, and how free that she's been playing as well. It's just really, it's a cool moment for her, especially with how young she is and how much time she still has left.
Yeah, for sure. It really reminds me, I don't know if you remember, I can't even remember the series or kind of the time period, but at one point I was hitting behind you. You were obviously younger than me, and you kept getting intentionally walked. And I think sometimes as players we're like, oh my God, but you forget the mental aspect of it too, of just knowing they're coming after you. And I think you've just done a really amazing job of hitting behind her and protecting her, and also producing with that added aspect of people come at me differently than they come at Taylor. But it reminds me, I did the same thing when I was hitting behind you. So just the honors getting passed down. Taylor's now in that position. I want to talk about where you're at in the SEC as of right now. Obviously, the SEC is going to come down to this last weekend. It's also senior weekend across the board. How has that presented challenges maybe from players, especially being a senior? And then how do you control that as a coach, knowing we're basically in postseason. This is giving a postseason feel of this weekend. So Karen, start with you. How are you preparing the team for like what's technically at stake this weekend, as well as celebrate some of the seniors like Boo?
I think we always try to acknowledge what's there because it's like the elephant in the room. If I don't say anything, they're thinking about it. So let's talk about how to think about it, right? You go into this weekend and, hey, mathematically, we still have a chance to win the conference championship. We're certainly in the thick of it for one of those top 4 seeds into the SEC tournament where we'd get the double bye. And then, of course, you have the postseason seeding and trying to get those 8 positions and certainly want to be in the 16. But if they start thinking about that and they focus on that when they go out to play, we will play very badly because we need to focus on being where our feet are, being present with each pitch. Really, I go back to Sunday at Ole Miss. I always look at Sundays as Super Regional Sunday. We came into Sunday 1-1. Whoever wins that game wins the series. And they did such an amazing job of just staying present. And that's the key for us this weekend. Senior weekend makes it even more difficult because of the emotions involved, and we all have those. I mean, I'm gonna hate to see this one go, but to me, I flip that around and I go, okay, let's play as long as we can. Let's not let this thing end till we're in Oklahoma City, right? And let's be there on that last day, and that's how we can experience the joy of being together as long as possible.
Yes, for sure. Boo, as a senior, you've been through it all through your career, from losing in regionals to SEC back-to-back champs to the World Series. Like, how do you lead this team in this moment where you've been in crunch situations? Back when we won the SEC that last weekend at South Carolina, same kind of feeling. How do you control your own emotions as well as lead this team?
Yeah, I think for me this year, really, I have been able to control my emotions by talking about them with the team, and that's been something that I've struggled with for a long time, but this year it's really been exposed because I am one of the leaders and we got a lot of people kind of looking towards me. So having those conversations, like Karen said, it's kind of an elephant in the room of what's to be expected and just what to expect. You never, postseason is, a lot can happen in postseason and a lot of different things. So really just being able to talk about it, and I'm also, someone that speeds up a little bit when under pressure. So being able to acknowledge that and slow myself down, but also realize that I have 24 other girls right there with me. That is just going to be the biggest push, the biggest motivation for not only myself, but I'm sure with everyone else. So really just going into this weekend and into postseason, it's going to be a grind. It's kind of you win or go home, but at the end of the day, we show that these are the last moments that we can play together, and we want to go as far as possible. So just sticking with that, knowing that a lot of eyes are going to be on us going into postseason, and we only can stick with each other, and that's all we got. So
yeah, that's all you have. Who's in that dugout with you? Which is such a special feeling, especially this next weekend. How tough Texas A&M is. They're a gritty team. They're a tough team, and at the same time, it kind of makes it even more fun because if you just compete and you play your best, you have a chance. Coach Karen, I want to ask you, kind of preparing for Texas A&M, what do you think are the keys for the team this weekend to play their best and like you said, play free?
Starting in the circle, limiting free passes. When we limit free passes, we are really, really, really good in the circle. We have really good pitching. And that's a big key for us, obviously. Playing solid defense. You've heard this how many times in your career? Cinch one. If we get an out every time that they put the ball in play, we're going to be fine. And that goes to the, slowing ourselves down and staying present in the moment. And then continuing to execute offensively. And by that, I don't mean that, hey, Boo's got to hit a home run and the next person has to hit a double in the gap. It's, hey, if she comes up in a situation where we need to bunt and move runners to second and third so that the next person then can give us a ground ball that, we can try to score on. We execute a run and bunt, we execute a hit and run, those kinds of things. And just kind of passing the bat and everybody really valuing drawing that bases loaded walk just as much as they value hitting a grand slam.
For sure. Before we wrap it up with a few more questions, I just want to talk about the Lady Vol Booster Club. So like I mentioned, this episode or the show is brought to you by the Lady Vol Booster Club Premier NIL Collective. So Boo, you've experienced 4 years of NIL and just everything that it has to do with the sport now. What has the Lady Vol Booster Club done for you, and like what does it mean to be a part of this?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen so much in these last 4 years that I've been here. Like, NIL is growing so much, and just the support that the Booster Club gives to female athletes, like, you are not going to find that anywhere else. And the work that Terry does, the rest of your staff, like the involvement and just the want to help the female athletes, it's incredible. And I cannot be more thankful just for the opportunity to be part of it. And just to have a little glimpse of, that support, and just to see how the Booster Club can continue to develop for girls coming in later. And it's just been great. Like, I cannot, think of another way to spread women empowerment through sports, and just the fire that this Booster Club has for female athletes all across the board, not softball, not just basketball, like all 9 female sports. It's just been incredible, and I just am so thankful to be part of it in this short amount of time, and I can't wait to see it grow.
Yeah. I could be wrong. Based off the year that NIL started, you might be one of the first class or the second class that actually had NIL throughout the 4 years. I think you are the first, because I want to say it started my sophomore year.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then Karen, you're the first coach that's come on here. So from a coach's perspective, like NIL in general is such a big deal nowadays, something that you've had to evolve to. But what has the Booster Club that you've seen done for your athletes?
Well, I remember bringing recruits on visits and telling them, there's this store in Knoxville that just sells Lady Vol stuff. Like, how cool is that compared to our peers? And then we got to say, hey, we have a women's collective. Like, there's a group of people that are, promoting NIL just for Lady Vols. How cool is that? And, Tennessee has led the way in women's sports all these years. We've always been the first. And we do it, and the fans and everybody who supports the Booster Club, they do it because they believe in women. It's not a have-to. It's not, oh, we've got to do something for the girls because the guys get it. It's because they've always wanted to, and that's where their heart is. And it's really cool to be at a university that promotes women like that. And honestly, that's the reason Ralph and I came here. That was really the deciding factor for me. When I saw how this university and the people in the state of Tennessee believe in women, I thought, well, where else would you want to be? Growing up a female athlete and always feeling like you never got what the men did, and now to be somewhere where women are treated equally. And I think that's why we've had so much success with the Booster Club, and it's made an incredible impact on our ability to recruit and retain outstanding student athletes.
Wow. Couldn't have said it better. She's media trained. Wow. Just to wrap it up, to keep it emotional, I should say, because that was such a good answer. I do want to touch on, Boo, how much you've meant to the program. You've been here for 4 years. You obviously committed 8 years ago, which is crazy. So Karen, if you would like to say anything to Boo and the senior class, obviously you have Katie, who's been here also 4 years, Sophia, Laura, Kinsey, all have transferred in. It just makes a variety of a senior class. What would you say to this class who has been through it from losing in regionals to the top of winning the SEC?
Did you feel that knife? It's interesting because now with the transfer portal, what it is, your classes are going to be somebody's 4 years, and then we have 2 that are 2 years, and then Kinsey 1 year. But it's like Kinsey, like you feel like she's been here forever, and it's only been the 1 year. What I'm so proud of with Boo is the way she's grown in so many ways other than a softball player, and just, her spiritual growth here. I don't know that she would have found that relationship with the Lord had she not come to Tennessee and had she not been around the people that she's been around here. And to me, that's the best thing ever, because to have that relationship with God for the rest of your life, like, you could come here and you can get a great degree and you can make great friends and all the other things that go with college, but there's absolutely nothing more important than that. And, Boo spoke to it in one of the other answers about being a leader and having to kind of talk about things more this year because she knows her teammates are looking at her. And there was such a cool moment at Oklahoma on Saturday night. We didn't play really well, and they had their own meeting. And I really didn't know what was talked about until the next day post game. But I think Boo shared a lot of things that were kind of on her heart, and being a senior and a leader, probably stressing her out a little bit and kind of let some things out. And then the next day, it was just so awesome to watch her connection with the entire dugout when she was up to bat. And you could see that she felt like there's 25 people in this batter's box with me. And she gets this key base hit. But it was just, it's been so fun to watch her learn how to lean on that relationship with God, but also lean on her teammates and to be vulnerable.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I've got to see the evolution of McKenna Boo Gibson throughout my time, and I'm so grateful for you to have been like a younger sister to me. I'm so looking forward to this weekend, and you guys, you still have a month left of your season, so you guys need to go get some rest. But I'm so grateful for both of you coming on. We'll all be watching this next weekend and throughout postseason, but congratulations on just a phenomenal career, and I know that this next month of your season is going to be amazing. But thank you as well, Karen, for coming on.
Thank you.
Making history, first coach here.
Yay.
Thank y'all.
We're twinning.